And we're live. TDS Aftershow, episode 2, Cameron Clark's favorite podcast.
JETBAT, I have bad news for you.
You have bad news? What's your bad news, Rabbitt?
I lent somebody my webcam because they have online classes, so now I don't have a webcam, and I won't be able to join you.
I'm sure everybody's very upset by this, Rabbitt.
Yeah.
I am incredibly upset.
I know that Solitario is upset because she loves my cute ass.
I mean, you got Solitario.
It was your face that made episode 1 as successful as it was, Rabbitt.
It was. It really was.
That's right.
We probably have, 50 views on the video?
You're looking great today. You're fucking glowing.
Yeah. Look at the shine coming off that fucking forehead. It's great.
Yeah, she looks like all fresh and pretty. I say that like that's not a normal thing for her, but...
Oh, well, you know.
She's wearing her headphones. Thank you, Solitario. She has her headphones on. We're good to go.
Solitario is a queen, honestly. JETBAT, I don't know why you were so rude to her the first couple times you were here.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
You were so like you would constantly say how you were muting Solitario.
Don't worry, JETBAT. I'll be rude to her for you. I know you have to keep up appearances now that we're recording.
Thank you, Oren.
Hey, Soli.
What?
You have a very dumb face.
Fucking
blown out. Got him.
The spiciest roast we've heard thus far. Damning.
Got
Destroyed. Look at that. Look at her screen. She's in a fucking Yamcha crater. Look at this shit.
She's pretending to laugh, but really she's crying.
Only 5 of you got that reference, and I appreciate you.
No, don't worry, Oren. I'm here for you. I'm all things weeb trash.
Yes.
I didn't get it.
Or are we talking about killing all white people?
What are we talking about?
Tell us what you mean. Why do you hate white people?
I mean,
Same reason
I hate all
hates
people
black
equally,
people.
I suppose. You know, it's not like white people are worse than any other race, as far as I see it. I just think people are
you're
kind
a
of shitty.
humanitarian then.
As a proud supporter of the white ethno state, the only white genocide I want to see is the destruction of white pussy.
Hold on. Nobody mentioned that JETBAT has his TV on. I'm going to try to see what he's got on his TV.
Yeah, I always leave it on.
Oh shit, what you watching, buddy?
I honestly have terrible eyesight.
Whoops.
Baby Dick Touchers Anonymous.
Anonymous.
I hope you're all okay with being
not anonymous about that.
Anonymous.
What am I anonymous about?
You touch baby dicks.
I've been anything but anonymous about this. I've been open from the very start. I disavow touching baby dicks. I've never touched a baby dick.
Baby dicks all the time. Every night I go to bed, I touch a baby dick.
I don't even have a baby. This is a baby-free zone.
Except for your basement.
Yeah, but you can touch other baby dicks. You don't have to have a baby to touch baby dicks.
All we have to really do to touch baby dick is go grope rap.
You know, maybe the baby dick
that was uncalled for and unkind. I will not accept that rudeness.
All right, Roger, I have to comment on your triangular bottle. What the fuck are you drinking?
Grunt's whiskey.
Okay.
Triangular? That's not triangular.
Well,
it's a bit rare, but to be fair, I understand what you're saying.
Oh yeah,
I see
that's
it.
a
I see it when
prism.
you turn it.
Do you understand
Probably,
shapes?
probably when she takes it.
Yeah, it's a three. It's 3-sided with rounded edges, so it looks weird, but it's like.
Is that not a triangle?
Well, now you just
it's
described a triangle.
Triangular, I guess, would be the more accurate word, but.
Isn't that the same thing? Why would triangular be a better word than triangle? What do you mean?
I don't know. Let's not,
actually, it's a triangular. It's a truncated triangular prism.
Well, technically, this isn't a triangle because, like, it's not an edge; it curves.
Around. Let's continue the visual gag on an audio-based podcast.
Geometry talk is absolutely getting cut. I will have zero math-based discussion in my fucking podcast.
You just see JETBAT'S face. I didn't actually need to see his face to know what face he was making, but.
I looked up halfway through and I saw.
You guys can tell what parts are getting cut just based on my expressions.
It's the face of disavowal.
I've got a story that I want to tell you guys.
Tell us your story, Oren.
Okay. I recently started a construction job, and everybody at construction are super bored because half the time you're standing around waiting for the foreman to get to the goddamn point and get you what you need. They talk constantly and badger you like a fucking aunt you haven't seen in 5 years. Where you been? Are you got a girlfriend yet? Because there's nothing to fucking do besides. And like most of them are Hispanic.
Is this foreman or people that you're working with?
People that I'm working with. Everybody else on the construction site. Sorry. And eventually, everybody at some point will ask if you're married or have a girlfriend. I don't know why the other men aged 20 to 50 are asking me this question, but they do. Every single one of them that I meet, it's like, you got a girlfriend? Like, yes. Eventually, I just, at first I dodged the question, deflect with a joke because I never reveal information about myself ever.
Smart.
I think it's funny. And then I eventually just go, let's pull out this golden oldie. I say, yeah, I got a girlfriend. Oh, really? What's she like? Well, she's nice, average looking, average in all departments, but I like her. Okay. What's her name? Oh, Rosie Palmer. I see her almost every single day.
Classic.
See her almost every day.
I hope she hears this. You just saying she's incredibly average, but I like her anyway. I'm sure she'll be super flattered by that.
Rajvi, are you not tracking right now what he's getting at?
Yeah. I call her Rosie Palmer. It takes 5 guys. It's not until the old guy with the gray 5 o'clock shadow who's Caucasian to get the joke. And it's just going over everybody's head. And so all the Hispanics who are gathered around, they don't get it. But then this old foreman, who's not my foreman, just another one, just bursts out laughing. It's like, yeah, you get it. I was waiting for somebody to get on the uptake.
Oh yeah, ese, show me some pictures of this Rosie. I want to see her. She sounds real sexy, man.
Okay, I told her I can show you to her.
I take off
my Kevlar glove and hold up my right hand.
I'll introduce you right now.
10 seconds later, one of them fucking gets it and starts spouting off in Spanish, and everybody else breaks out laughing.
Nice, that's
like
good.
He explained it to him.
I see we're joined by a member of the United States Air Force.
Hey, it's Captain.
The Air Force.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Did you actually just salute on your fucking webcam?
I did salute on my webcam.
Indoors.
God, you are indoors. You didn't even stand up. You didn't even do it right.
I'm peak civilian. I'm peak civvy.
Peak fucking civilian.
Is it? Are we at that level?
No, it's not.
Life yet?
Retard is fine. You can say retard as much as you want.
Hate Little Rock. They rubbed off on me.
On Facebook.
Wait, can you say the F word? Can you say...
What, you mean faggot?
What, figs?
Yeah.
I don't censor the F slur because it's on YouTube. If we were on Twitch, you couldn't say the F slur.
What words do you?
I think so.
What am I not allowed to say here?
I mean, you can say it, but you can say it if you're being a dick and you want to give me more work. You're allowed to say the N-word. It will just get censored, and then I have to spend more time editing.
But what are the words that we can say that doesn't give you more time editing, but it's
Porch
still
monkey, probably.
allowed?
Any of them except the
N-word. Guy from
Okay.
So I can say chink. Chink is fair game.
Yes, that's fair. That's fine.
Okay, what if I say sand?
He did
That's
say
the N-word,
sand
didn't
in front of it.
and that magically makes it different.
It does.
No, okay, you can say sand N-word, but you can't say sand.
You can say sand.
Say S-word, N-word, so that way
you know what
have,
I hate? I hate black wiggers.
I just hate the kikes.
It could be fine. Can people...
Is that?
I don't have to censor that.
Is Nagger okay?
Yes, and jogger is okay. You are allowed to say jogger.
What if I talk about my sister's best friend, Monica?
Oh?
This is a ruse, isn't it? Am I about to fall for a ruse here, boys? Yeah. I'll allow it. I won't censor that. I won't censor that as long as you are very precise in your pronunciation.
And she gave me this card that says the word pass on it, and there's a letter next to it, and I think you all know what it is.
What did you think about Vermin Supreme? That was a really good call-in.
He's like John McAfee with less drug-addled rambling.
Yes, agreed.
Supreme was so fucking good on the call. I've not heard of him before. This is the first time I heard of him, and I was talking on YouTube chat with other people, and I want to watch more videos about him, after later. He was so fucking funny.
I love him.
He seems so cool.
I love him. He's just laid back, and he speaks like a human being amongst politicians on a stage, because you don't, and it's just such a massive contrast to have just a well-articulated, down-to-earth dude speak instead of the politicians every once in a while when you watch these videos and you realize how much of these guys are lizard people. They are not normal people. They think they're a noble class, and they speak like it. They move like it. You can see it on them, and it's just, oh my God.
I like how he uses humor to sort of take his point and be silly. Like, you listen to him and you know he's talking absolute fucking stupid stuff, but there's a point within all his jokes, and I think that's the best way to make a point.
Yeah.
When you mix it with humor. And I
yeah,
think
half the time he's screwing
perfectly.
around. Half the time he's screwing around speaking, but the other half he just like gets a question that actually engages him. He cracks a joke during his answer, but he's actually speaking to people.
It's satire to make a point, and this is one of the main reasons I fucking love listening to Dick. Like, he has many points he actually wants to make, even if I don't agree with them. The way he says them, he jokes, he pisses around, and he trolls people. But really, within that, there's like a point that he's trying to make. And this like guy that I heard today,
I just love it.
that boot dude, does that like fucking perfectly. It's wonderful.
No, Solitario as a black woman of color. Can I say it?
She's English. She doesn't count.
Say what? The N-word?
Yes.
Are you asking Solitario for an N-word pass?
Yes.
Okay.
As a first-generation American,
Wait, you've given me one already.
Take it.
I have already given out N-word passes as much as I'm allowed to as a mixed race person, but
yeah,
she's already given out her quota for the month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear the story of why my mom thinks I'm gay?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's right. You hyped this up last week, John. Yes, we're ready to hear about the story of why your mom thought you were gay at some point.
It was about a 15-year stretch where my mother was convinced I was gay. I couldn't tell her different, but I had to look myself in the mirror. I'm like, I don't want people touching my butt enough. Like, that's like I can't have people touching my ass. It's gross. I fucking nearly killed a friend of mine for touching my ass. But
extreme.
That's how straight I am. I nearly murdered a man. But
that sounds like you're too straight. That you're definitely a bit gay and you're oppressed.
You need to let the faggots touch your butt, you bigot.
The only way to prove that you're like completely straight is by letting a bunch of men touch your butt.
It all started when I was about 4 or in the 4th grade. And my buddy Tristan comes to me and he says, "All right, John, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play a new game. It's called the Humping game. And me, I'm in 4th grade, and I have no idea what humping even is. And he demonstrates. He gets behind me and he fucking humps me in the ass. Just a little bit of dry humping on my butt."
Tristan was your teacher, right? Your friend Tristan?
No, Tristan was my friend. So I'm 9 years old and probably retarded.
Okay.
And he gets a whole group of us to play this game. There's like fucking 10 to 15 of us. And the way you play the humping game, it's like a tag, except instead of tagging another person, you gotta hump them.
So it's fag tag.
I feel like your friend was probably being molested and he was just
He was sexually repressed. He had 2 gay moms that were divorced, and one was like super militaristic and a cop. And every time he would do something and fuck up in school or whatever, or just like talk back or do whatever the fuck, his mom would have his head shaved.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Women shouldn't be cops. That is an interesting punishment.
Wants to play the humping game, wants to fuck everybody in the ass. Wants everybody to have a big dumb orgy of dry humping. So, of course, we're at school when this happens. Someone on the playground sees a bunch of kids humping each other, doesn't quite appreciate that. JETBAT'S appreciated it a lot. He went back in time and saw it. So, of course, we're all pulled in to the various offices and sat down and being like, and the fucking principal comes to us and they say, what the fuck? And we all look at Tristan like, this guy over here. And he's like, yeah, it was me. Oops. They bring all of our parents in to talk to us. Everybody else has multiple parents. I've got like one. This is already uncomfortable as a 9-year-old child. Mother comes in to talk to me and it's like, hey, you know what humping is, right? Like, fucking, I was just caught doing cocaine. And it's just like, humping is what happens during sex. And that's when I had the talk to figure out what sex was.
Oh, that's inconvenient.
At school.
At school in the principal's office with my mother.
Okay. I'm better than the principal.
I think this was the point where my mother's wheels started turning. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with boys just humping dudes from the back.
Ma, it's just boys being boys. I was just doing guy talk.
Exactly. I was like, we're just the boys. We're hanging out. We're cracking a few cold ones. And by cracking a few cold ones, I mean he's cracking a fucking cold slap on my ass. This may have been the point where the wheels started turning, but I don't think it was confirmed in her mind until the next year. I heard that we were doing musical theater auditions, and I said, I gotta do it.
For the record, are you gay?
No, I have a hot Jewish girlfriend in the other room here. John,
if you're humping some guy, are you really still a virgin at that point?
The clothes were on, right? There was no penetration. You're still a virgin until you penetrate.
Even when you penetrate, sometimes it's like maybe you're still a virgin, depending what that means.
Raj, no, I think you're.
Let's circle back to that. I'm writing that one down. Let's circle back to that.
Don't
Yeah.
be so
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Right,
In your notes,
definitely
please
still
write Wirgin.
She sits me down and she's like, because she had gone out of town, and I had a few people over at the house. One of them was fucking retarded and left her fucking pants at my house. And we didn't.
It means she's moving in, buddy. It means she's moving in, man. Like, that's what women do. They leave either clothes or earrings or something on the counter.
Cantillions, clean your house.
What?
He can clean up his room.
I'm sorry. I don't.
You said the kitchen counter. How often are you not cleaning your kitchen fucking counter?
No, okay, so we all have two bedstands, right? Well, maybe we all don't. Maybe because some of you guys probably have a box on the side of your bed, just like Maddox. That's probably fine. I have two side tables on my bed. One that I use all the time for, my phone and everything else. And the other one is maybe something that I really don't look at all that often. It's just on the other side of the bed that I don't sleep on. So, I actually had...
look at it that often, why would, one night stands that are coming over
because the chicks who sleep on the other side of the bed. There's two sides of the bed. There's one that you sleep on, one that you don't sleep on. No, I don't take up my entire... No,
I like to imagine... I like to imagine Cantillions with a noticeable divot in one of the sides of his mattress.
Oh, it's a huge divot. I have to flip my mattress. That's a pro life tip right now, boys and girls. Flip your mattress every few months.
Oh yeah. Flip your mattress. Never clean anything. Leave stuff around. So
I do clean stuff, but I'm sorry. I don't look at a piece of a small earring. I don't look at that and just be like, okay.
You don't notice it, but girls that you hook up with,
of course, girls notice it. That's what I'm trying to say, Raj. That's what I'm trying to fucking say.
This makes no sense. This makes zero sense.
What doesn't make sense?
Raj, you're fucking saying, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. The common thread in shit not making sense here is you. What do you want? You want to play Sight? No. Okay. What the fuck are you doing in here?
Hot Jewish girlfriend interrupting the show.
Oh my god.
Get out of here. Well, fuck communist Russia.
Hot Jewish girlfriend.
Get out of here.
John, can we get your hot Jewish girlfriend on the line? No, bring her on, John, bring her on.
Every day I tell her she shouldn't vote, and I'm gonna fucking burn her. But
Jesus. Jesus Christ.
And you get humped by your friend, your mom has to come to the school, you get the sex talk, and then you want to join.
Solitario, we don't need a fucking recap. Shut the fuck up.
I think we needed a recap after the whole fucking introduction.
Bring it back to John's story.
Only the women forget what happened already.
I'm trying to bring it back to...
She sits me down after finding a friend of mine's pants in the fucking bedroom. It was a female friend of mine. They were obviously female pants. Because I don't know any dudes who wear leggings anymore. I'm fucking hanging out in the house. Mother comes up to me and she says, "Well, John, I found some pants in the bedroom. You want to tell me what's going on?" I'm like, one of my friends changed her pants here and then forgot them like a dumbass. I was just like, yeah. She's like, did anything happen? I'm like, no, I didn't. No, we didn't fuck or anything. And she's like, son, are you gay? We had this conversation before. And I'm just like, no, Mom, I love women. And she looks at me and she's like, it's okay if you're gay, John. Like, there's no shame in it. Like, my hairdresser's gay. Your cousin's gay. Listen, we live in the Bay Area. It's a very accepting, and I'm just confused. I'm thinking I've done enough straight shit in my day. You can't question my heterosexuality.
You're vetted at this point in your mind.
I thought I was vetted.
Would you say that you're a flaming heterosexual?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's how heterosexual I am.
That felt like a trick question. I felt myself being tricked by that question.
I've never felt so stupid. So my mother, for the longest time, thought I was gay, and at every opportunity, she would be like, "Oh, I have this guy who I talked about him with you. I think you guys should hang out." My mother would constantly try to hook me up with dudes from her work. She would like introduce it as like, "Oh no, they just want to kind of friend," and I'm like, no, I don't believe that shit. You work for fucking TSA, bro. I'm not having that shit. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. So at that point, I decided it's probably a good idea to just move, and that's when I moved to Chicago, like a real genius.
Is it possible that your mom was gay and trying to set you up with that Tristan guy as a way of getting to the lesbian mom couple? Maybe set up a lesbian mom threesome? Is there any chance of that being possible?
Black dick. She wouldn't get into the lesbian couple. She likes fucking black dudes.
You should have turned it on.
Well, of course she likes black dudes. She works for the TSA. That's why she started working for the TSA. Because she likes black dudes.
Honestly, sometimes I think about it.
Okay, but all the guys here, hasn't there at least been one point where your mom asked you if you're gay? Yes. I mean, I think it's happened to every single man.
I think what it comes down to is that progressive moms want to have a gay son because it gives them bonus points.
My mom's not progressive, but she would be like, my mom even asked me, like, hey, have you ever thought about maybe kissing your best friend growing up?
I don't think I've ever done anything like that.
What's always very funny to me.
What about kissing Chris the Kiwi?
Shut the fuck up.
Just playing a big old smackaroo.
She did do some
a big old smidge your ass cheek.
Disturbing, I guess.
I cannot imagine how Chris would react to being kissed at all. I think just the physical sensation. I think as in autism, the physical sensation of that touch would be too much for him to handle.
It will either repulse him or breed a sense of intimacy that he can't fight off. Those are the two options.
I think he'll just be so into it, he'll embrace it, and he'll fall in love with you.
That is the most likely option, I think. There are two options when an autist is embraced physically. He will either reject the affection entirely and feel, deeply repulsed, or they will develop these other sense of emotions on top that aren't necessarily related to the actual event.
They'll either get super, super angry, or they'll fall in love with you. One of the two.
As an autistic person, can confirm I have been kissed at a party and immediately fell in love.
Oh God, that is a horrible life.
That's bad.
What was that fucking take that Raj had on virginity?
Okay, so let me set the scene. So Raj interjected that it's possible to have penetrative sex and still be a virgin. Raj, please explain.
It's possible to have yourself penetrated, but you've still not quite lost your virginity. because like, well, I think this is common knowledge. Like, sometimes you just like, as a girl, like you can sometimes fall over in a certain way, and like your hymen breaks and it bleeds. And the funny, like, okay, in terms of my personal experiences, for a while I was super desperate. I just really wanted to lose my virginity. I was just fucking desperate for it. I just really wanted it to happen. So some random guy I was doing a one night stand with, and we shagged, but like the first time you do it, the cock doesn't quite fit into the hole quite right, and like it made me bleed and made me feel extra sensitive, but it didn't actually fully enter. But like I was bleeding for months on end, and it was like, is this what like losing your virginity means? But I remember at that time I was asking him, so would you count this as me having sex? Would you count this as me losing my virginity? And he was just like, to be honest, I wouldn't count it. But he was a guy that had sex before, and he was just like, I don't quite think that's what sex is. Sometimes it's just like when it is hitting the outside of your vagina a bit, like something breaks inside of you and it hurts and you're bleeding, but it's not quite full on sex. That's what I mean by that.
For those of you playing along at home, that was 5 vaginities and 1 vagina.
Yeah. I missed chords. I don't have my fucking goofy counter.
That's right.
It's a whole myth that people always like, once you break your hymen,
Raj,
that's when you've lost your virginity. But that's not what the case is.
6.
Like, people break their hymens all the time and you've not actually lost your virginity.
7.
You have lost your virginity if a penis enters your vagina at any point.
Yeah, but how deep?
Are you saying anal doesn't count?
Totally counts. I don't care what all these Christians say.
Rajveer,
Just like
have you still not had sex and you're just pretending? Did the tip get in?
Did
you with his
penis enter vagina?
No, we were trying for. I don't know if it entered it. That's the thing. We were trying for ages for fucking.
How would you not know?
What are you talking about?
How would you not know if a penis
That's
is
why
inside you?
see, because it was like I don't know. I was just like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was happening. I can felt it sort of touching the outside of my vagine lips, but I couldn't actually feel it going in. And at
So
certain points, I
Rajveer,
would have to ask him, so is it
do
going
have a
in?
real
And like it wouldn't fit. It fucking literally wouldn't fit.
Raj, I
And
do
then,
have
like,
a
I
real
started
question.
bleeding, and it's like, wait, does this mean we've had sex? And he said, no, I don't think this is what sex is. I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
You can fit a goddamn like baseball bat in there.
I felt some pain, but when the pain got too much, that's when it stopped, and that's when he was just like sort of outside. I don't know.
I'd say if it got to the point where it tears your hymen, you got fucked.
Yeah, that's the thing though, because I've
the
talked to some
the
of my
hymen's-
female friends before.
The hymen's
and
not
it's
an
like-
eyelid. It actually is a little inside.
I've never met someone in real life who got just the tip.
If you get your hymen broken by gymnastics, I'll say that you're still a virgin. But if you got your hymen broken by a cock, I think that you're not a virgin.
But what if the cock didn't even properly enter you? But
I mean, the hymen's like what, 2 inches in? You getting entered less than 2 inches?
Look, if a man is able to, without penetration, use his penis to break your hymen, a la some sort of blunt force trauma, I'd say that counts anyway, because that's quite the accomplishment.
To be honest, this was when I was like, I was at uni at this point, and I was like desperately trying to lose my virginity. Like I was like super desperate for it, so I had been like, masturbating hard and trying to like see if I can like, I don't know, get in there a bit. So I feel like maybe I made it a bit weaker, and then when the cock. Well, no, I asked him like, does this count as me losing my virginity? He was like, no, I wouldn't count that. And I was like, okay, I'll take
be
your word
honest
for
with
it.
you, Raj. I don't think it was because that dude was being honest with you. I think he just wanted to fuck you again.
Yeah,
so he's like, listen, I don't think you lost your virginity.
This is after we've already fucked.
Well, if you've already fucked, then you're not a virgin. What the fuck are you talking about?
Fucked. After we already potentially did the half-ass fuck
we already shagged.
Your story is really falling apart. I'm confused.
I don't know.
Unless your cervix got bruised.
So, like, you wanted to lose your virginity after you had fucked this guy, right?
I think it counts. Like, if he did penetrate in any way, that counts.
Yeah, you got to get the shaft in, or it doesn't count.
Well, to be honest, because exactly, that's what I mean. I'm confused. Does that? It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because either way it happened, and you had a good time as it was happening. But in terms of the concept of saying when someone's lost their virginity, does it matter if the whole shaft got in or just the tip, and you moaned, and then you were like, "Nah, let's stop doing this." Does that matter? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But that's just fucking words, ain't it? It's wordplay.
We're talking about the difference between if you consented to it, does it count? And then if you didn't consent to it, does it count?
I don't want to have that conversation. We're not having that conversation.
I don't know. That sounds like a great.
I don't want to have that one.
Back to molestation.
Back it out. Back it out.
Fetus, man.
I'd rather we have a jetbat touching baby dick discussion than is rape losing your virginity discussion. What do you guys think about the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone?
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, same here.
It seems silly. I don't know anything about gardening, and even I know you're not going to be able to get any fruits and veggies that way.
What did they do with the garden? I didn't see this.
A homeless man destroyed it. And
wait,
Mortal Kombat.
They didn't use ground. They just put it on cardboard and then dirt.
Yeah, so they had cardboard laying on a field.
We didn't talk about Aydin Paladin's call-in about her study on Karens. If you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to shoot them out.
There was a conspiracy theory that Aydin used to be a coal burner, and I don't know if that is. Oh.
She admitted to it. Oh,
What's a coal burner? Is that
she's
someone
just
that marries a black person?
She lives in. I think
Just fucks black
I think
guys.
She used to live in Chicago. Or
I disapprove of this
She was
conversation.
basically just hanging out mostly with black people, both men and women.
Is coal burner actually a racist term?
Coal burner, but basically just means you fuck the black dick.
Oh, it's actually a racist term. Okay.
Yeah. Burn the coal. You pay.
I thought it was some old school political group like teabaggers.
Coal burner.
To be fair about calling someone a coal burner is that it may fly over the heads as a racial insult to most modern black people.
It's dog whistling.
So you'll be missing the entire point by using the term coal burner.
I like dog whistles. They're really interesting.
I had this black guy over my house, black Republican dude. We were hanging out, we were doing some drugs, and I talked about someone coal burning because I didn't realize he was black. But thankfully, the joke went completely over his head, so he didn't notice I made a racist joke.
How did you not know he was black?
Because he was white. What do you mean? How did I not know he was black? Every half-black person looks white.
I'm gonna call my mom a coal burner. Thank you.
Solitario doesn't look white.
Yeah, she doesn't look white at all.
And Solitario's mom is a coal burner.
In terms of Aydin,
I could see Solitario
People
being
aren't white. That was not a half-white construct to begin with. It was a half-British construct to begin with.
In terms of Aydin, sometimes when she calls in and when she does a whole fucking psychology studies and she just basically reads them out loud, they kind of annoy me because I know how fucking mongy they can get. But this episode, I don't know. I think she was cool. I think she had a good point to make.
Are you saying that she gets too autistic on her typical appearances?
No, not autistic.
Okay.
It's because I studied psychology at uni, and it seems like all she's doing at times is reading out articles, and I think at a certain point you don't have you're not even making a point. All you're doing is reading stuff you read, even though it may be flawed in many ways. And I think she's smart enough to realize that it's a flawed study, but still, it kind of annoys me in some ways.
Modern colleges destroy the idea of dissent as a concept.
Let's get into that. How does that make you feel?
I mean, IDK, it just makes me feel like everyone around me is in a fucking cult worshipping black people. We're wearing slaver robes that sold the black people to America to begin with.
And with that, thank you for tuning in to Dick Show After Show, Episode 2.
This thing is a real shit show.
I know. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and by pleasure, I mean I've been in physical pain for the last hour and a half.
That's fair.
Thank you for listening, and go fuck yourselves.